Hello and welcome to Tea and Cornbread, a conversation with Sean and Tracy. I am Sean.
And I'm Tracy.
And we are talking to you all that are 50 and fabulous.
And don't forget handsome.
And we want you to know that we want to get some education happening, some empowerment.
We want to grow with you. We want to learn with you. We want to see what you're doing, 50 and over.
So like, share, comment, follow, subscribe,
grab your
tea. I like this time of year with
different
the pumpkin flavors.
the fall.
I like everything but pumpkin pie.
Oh, so you do like pumpkin muffins, but
Yeah.
not pumpkin pie.
Correct.
And that's funny. You said about I just said I don't like pumpkin. I need to try it though. I shouldn't discount it.
Right. So
So
today is about self-care, and we both walked in rushing and just, frazzled.
Mind-fogged. Yeah.
Yeah, just frazzled, right? So much stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And people may not believe it. I didn't know what was going on with her. She didn't know what was going on with me. We
Right.
both kind of looked at it and said, It
It's
is
one
what
of
it
those
is. It's
days.
just one of those days. It happens. And I'm glad that it does because
Yeah.
this is why we're here.
Absolutely. This
This
is what
is-
self-care is about.
This is what self-care.
Right.
And when I came in and I looked to say, what are we talking about? And it said self-care. I kind of got teary-eyed because I'm thinking, I need this.
You need this today.
I need this.
Mm-hmm. And your shirt, it says, forget
Yes.
perfection.
Forget perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to remember that because we try so hard. We just try so hard for everybody but ourselves. And we say
Yes.
this all the time, take care of self. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not taking care of Tracy and Sean's not taking care of Sean cannot be there for anybody else.
Right.
It doesn't matter who that somebody is.
Right.
So we have to remember to check in with self as much as we don't want to. One thing that people close to us know this, but one thing that Sean and I also are kind of intertwined with, we back away from people when we go through a situation. And I'm learning not to do that because at the end of the day,
You need somebody.
you do.
You
know what?
need
But I
somebody.
know that I do. But I feel here I go again thinking I could figure this out. And when I figure it out, then I'll call you and talk about it.
Right.
But the older I get, it doesn't work like that anymore. Well, it doesn't work like that for me.
Right. So listen, we did not do our intro. This is Tea and Cornbread.
Listen, she's Sean and I'm Tracy.
Right? Having a conversation over tea and cornbread. Oh my goodness. So that is a great point.
Yes.
That's a great point. That both of us, when we're going through, like
Mhm.
really going through,
We shut down.
we shut down. And because we're sisters, we shut down, but we'll force
We
ourselves
do.
on each other. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm
Answer the
knocking on your
phone.
door, right?
I'm texting. Where you
Exactly.
at?
exactly.
I need to come see you.
Just a hug.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And there's something I saw recently, and they were talking about, and we'll talk about this later because we're not prepared today.
Right,
But at the
right.
same time, we're gonna do what it do. We're
Yes.
gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
But there was a doctor on Instagram that I saw, and he was talking about the importance of hugs, and
Oh
that
my
you
goodness.
need 8 hugs a day.
Touch. You need it.
Yes.
But what
8
did you said when you walked in? Give me a hug. And what did I say? It's gonna make it worse.
Yeah,
That was my thought.
Yeah.
No,
a hug. But you know what? I grew up and raised my kids with saying a hug is good for the heart,
and it is.
and it definitely is. Touch is. You know what I mean? I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were talking about how with COVID and
Hmm.
with the pandemic and all of that, right? That people mental health has risen.
Mhm.
Like people that are really suffering from mental health,
Right.
and suicide rates and things like that. And younger people, that it's just it's alarming. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And this is why you need sisterhood. This is why you need friends. This is why you cannot become a hermit. This is why
can't.
you can't try to
Yes.
figure it out on your own. Because if you could figure it out on your own, you wouldn't go through it,
You wouldn't.
right? But this is where therapy comes in, and
Conversation, like you said, with people that you
Yeah.
trust, that you're able to let your shoulders down and just say, "Hey, this is." this is what I'm going through, and I
Right.
just can't figure it out. Or not even that I can't figure it out. Let's talk about it because I just don't feel good today.
Yes. And you know when someone says, "Hey, how you doing?"
Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Don't lie
I'm
because
good.
yeah,
Everything's
we
well.
always all is good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we put on that mask.
Mm-hmm.
Take your mask off because you need it off
Yes,
sometime to
you
breathe.
do.
How about that?
Yeah, that's a good one. You need it off sometime to breathe.
Mhm.
But even going back to the mental health and us being isolated and not um, being around family and friends. I mean, anything as simple as going to the mall and seeing people, the hustle and the bustle. How much I miss that. You know, this online ordering thing. It's not about the retail company. It's
For
about getting
convenience.
out. It's about being social. It's
Yeah.
about talking to people, getting
Yeah.
on the train and not being afraid to sit next to said person because of the pandemic,
Whatever. Right, right, right,
and
right.
that's how you meet people. That's how you just generally make conversations.
Yeah.
Just normal
Yeah.
authentic conversations with people you just don't know, and you
Right.
learn about people, they learn about you.
Right.
So we do need that, and hugs are good. And I shied away because I was a little eh, emotional, not because I didn't want her to touch me, not because because I
Hmm.
just felt like sometimes when people say how you doing, and if you're not doing good at that moment, what do? You get ready to break down.
Right. But you got to say, you know what?
It's
Today is not a good
okay.
day.
Yes,
You
it's
know, I just
okay.
need a
I'm
hug. Oh, I'll
emotional
say
right
that in
now.
a minute. I just need a hug. You know,
Yeah.
my one of my girlfriends came to town from up Rochester, New York, and she, told me that she was coming, and I said, "Oh, all right." She says, "I'm gonna stop by. We gotta." I said, "We at least gotta stop and get a hug, right?"
Right.
I said, "Because I really don't have time to go anywhere to sit and chit chat or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "But if you got time, just stop by. We just get a hug," and
That's
and
it.
that's just exactly what we did.
Do a little drive by.
Yep, she stood exactly doing a drive by, and that's exactly what she did. And and we needed that. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? We needed that. And people don't understand the importance of simplicity, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of just a hug,
Just a hug. Or sometimes just being in the room.
just being in the room,
Just being in the
having
room.
company where you're not alone and
Yes.
left to your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, like after a death in the family, and everyone's at your house for
Mm-hmm.
those first few days, maybe even a week, right? And then the funeral happens and they
Everybody
come,
goes home.
right. They come home the next day, right? And then that's it. Then after that, it's
Yeah.
like you don't see anybody for a while. They don't
Mm-hmm.
call, whatever. I like to see some people. I like to go to see people
After the
after
fact.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You
I
know,
think people think, okay, the services happened. We went, we sat, we talked, we ate. It's over, and they're good. And I'm not saying I haven't done that myself, but I don't think I think I agree with you that I need you now. Still, I need you to knock on my door, call me, send me a text,
just
stop
come
me from
sit on the
stopping.
couch.
Yeah, stop
You
me
know what I
from
mean?
shutting down. And
Right.
I'm working on it. Um, as she knows, I'm working on it, and
Yeah.
I think she is too. But we need people.
Self care is about taking care of
Just
yourself,
take
right?
care of
But
yourself
self
first.
care is a different definition. So let's go back to that
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
What does self care
Care mean
mean
to
to you?
you, right? Well, to me, I think it's like you said, it's several things. It's mental, it's physical, and what I mean by that, mentally, sometimes I do need to shut down, step back, and get my thoughts together. And then physical, I need to take care of me. Physically, I need to take care of me. What is taking care of me? It could be anything. Like I said, sitting back, reading a book. It could be me getting up, taking a walk. It could be me picking up the phone and calling you and saying, hey, I know this ain't right. I just need to talk this out. Help me get through this.
Hmm.
But we need to be mental and physically in touch with ourselves. And whatever that is to you,
Hmm.
you need to do it for you.
Someone said the other day that vulnerability is strength.
Mm-hmm.
Strength is in being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Strength is because we want to be strong. We want to be this
Strong.
superwoman.
Yes.
We don't want anybody to see us break down and
Yeah.
this, that, and the other. But you're stronger. You're the strongest when you are vulnerable,
You are.
when you can allow someone to be there for you, when you can identify or know that I'm not right. I don't feel good
Mm-mm.
today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know exactly. And sometimes you know what it is and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But being able to just identify at that moment, I want to cry.
And it's
And it's
okay.
okay. And it's cleansing,
It
right?
is.
Crying, asking people for a hug,
Mm-hmm.
saying to somebody, I just need to put my head on your shoulder
Mm-hmm.
for a moment.
Like I said, it don't have to be a
It
conversation, and we don't have
doesn't.
to discuss what's going on. I
Nope.
just need you. I need to lean on you.
That's it. That's it. It could be literally or figuratively,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
And every day is a new day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Every day is a new day. And it's okay for today not to be the best day.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Exactly. Like we have to stop telling people to suck it up,
Yeah.
telling little
Yeah.
boys or
Or
young
man up.
men not to cry.
Right.
That's so not true. And it's we have to as women stop thinking, what's that song? And I don't remember who made it. I'm not your superwoman.
Mm.
We are not superwoman.
Yes.
As much
Yes.
as we think we are,
Yeah.
as much as we carry a lot, we still are human and we break down. We have
Yeah.
feelings, we have wants, we have needs, but we're always trying to take care of everybody else. And you get to that point where um I don't know what's next. I don't know how to answer that question, you know? And the people you've been taking care of, sometimes you want to put on that mask and smile and act like you got the answers because you don't want to disappoint. But that's not being true to yourself. Sometimes I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. And as much as I want to give you the answer or you want me to say what you want to
Yeah.
hear,
Yeah.
I don't have the answers.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
That
It's
does
okay.
not make me weak. That does not
Mm-mm.
make me, less than.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't.
Right. And
And
so, and when I say is that's beyond my purview. So,
there you
so
go. There you go.
let me see if I know somebody that knows somebody that knows
Mm-hmm.
somebody that can help you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And some people just want you.
That's it.
And sometimes we don't have the bandwidth at that moment to be there
Mm-hmm.
for the next person. Sometimes because we're depleted,
Right.
right? And we can't and you can't help somebody with the empty cup. If
Right.
we have an empty cup, we can't help nobody. How could we
Exactly.
pour into somebody else if our cup is empty?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but at the same time when we're saying this, it's like, okay, we have to find a way to fill our cup
Yes.
and then we can
Get
go over
back at
here
it.
and help somebody fill
Yes.
their cup
Yes.
and so on,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's at the s- at the same time I'm grateful
Definitely.
and we're blessed.
And I say that all the time.
We're blessed to be
We are
here
truly blessed.
and we're blessed to be able to have this conversation
Definitely.
and be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still not easy to be.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Because so many people look up to you, respect you.
Mm-hmm.
They put you in a category where you never shown any
Yes.
vulnerability.
And I think
They've
that's what
never seen you
that's
cry.
us. That's our
Right.
problem though.
It really is.
That's our
They
problem.
never seen you cry.
Yes.
They never see you fall apart.
Yep.
They
They
never
always see you trying to figure it out.
Yeah, they never see you if you're angry. They may notice that you might be upset
Mm-hmm.
about something, but they've never seen you like blow up.
React. Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? And things like that. I know as a kid, I always used to say, I'll never give anybody a reason to talk about me in the streets, right? No matter how angry I get or anything. Now, I'm not exempt, you know what I mean, from ever having drama or anything like that.
Right. Right.
But at the same time, the older I get too, I consciously stop myself from,
Letting go.
yeah, to a certain extent. And
Mm-hmm.
sometime it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I have my mother and my father in me.
Mm-hmm.
My mother will smack you and then say, "Oh, your name's not so and so. That wasn't you. I'm sorry." That's my mother, right? My
She
father
asked questions after.
after. My father, on the other hand, was laid back, chill, all right. You know, my mother would be the firecracker in the house, cussing and flipping out on him. And he would go ahead, Diane.
Yeah.
That's where he would go. He would go
That's so
ahead.
funny. I think my parents were the same way. I think my father, well, I think he probably was, dad was dad.
Right.
And mom was a little bit more easygoing when it came to stuff,
Was
but
it?
she didn't play
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
You
No,
know what
my
I mean?
mother
She
wasn't
just had
easy.
a different tactic than he had. Dad was
Okay.
just dad. And I don't mean just dad.
Yeah, I
He
know what you
ruled,
mean.
with an iron fist, but when it came down to it, like she was the one, like, don't mess with my kids.
Yeah.
This is not
Oh, that
gonna
was my
be the
mother
way it's
too.
gonna
Yeah.
go. And she would tell you too.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time she made me go back outside and fight this girl, and I'm thinking, I don't want to fight this girl. You gonna go
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
outside? And I'm thinking,
Our
lady,
mothers
I
were the
don't want to
same.
fight.
Yes.
Like, no.
My mother was the same way. Oh my goodness, it's hilarious.
Yes, I never
when we
forget
think
that.
about it,
I'm
right?
like, oh,
But they didn't play. They didn't play.
no.
I remember my mother beating up somebody that tried to say something to my boyfriend back in the day, and she called me talking about I beat so and so. I slapped the mess out of so and so.
No.
What are you doing?
Yes. Yes.
But at the same time, though,
Yeah, you
going
gotta be
back to the
conscious
point,
of-
right? Because
yeah.
we going on a tangent. But
Yeah.
going back to the point of we're not perfect.
Yeah. Right.
Forget about perfection, right?
Forget about
We're not
perfection.
perfect. And I always want to be real with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I always want to be myself. I try not to make people think that I'm something that I'm not. You know what I mean? But who you meet is who you get.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I am who I am, right?
Right.
And I'm not. I'm unapologetic about that.
And you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I may know some. I'm not. I call it flowery with words. You know how some people are just they talk so intellectual and and all of that, right? And I go, listen, if I don't know something, I don't know it. I'm gonna tell you I don't know.
If I'm saying it wrong,
Yeah,
I'm not using it in the right way.
And I don't believe there's any dumb questions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I will ask a
Right.
question, even if it sounds stupid to the next person.
Right.
I'm still gonna
Well,
ask
it
the
doesn't, because I
question.
think that's been drilled in our head. There are no,
Mm-hmm.
we know there are no stupid questions,
Mhm.
but you have to believe if you have that question, well, maybe one more person also.
Right.
They just not brave enough to
Ask it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing too, I say is I'm a career student.
Always,
I'm a career student. I learn something new every day.
as we should.
And I love to be in the room with people that are powerful,
Mm-hmm.
and that word can be misconstrued or
Yes.
underestimated or
Yes.
overestimated, right? And what I mean by that is, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
Mm-mm. People
Or
who
fe-
are
or
willing to
feel
share
like,
what
yeah,
they've learned, where
yeah.
they're going.
And when you learn it, but that used to be intimidating. You know what I'm saying? Going to board meetings or going into
Because we put them on a
networking.
pedestal, though, because we thought they were better than us,
Right.
that they
Right.
were
But they're
smarter
people.
than us. They
They're
are.
people. When you meet them, like one-on-one or get in a room with a person that you thought was like, oh my goodness, they've done so much, or
And they down to earth.
They're this and they're that or whatever. And you're right. They're down to
Down
earth.
to earth.
And that's what I love
Yeah.
about it. And I just remember I was on a board one time, and I would make sure I was dressed the right way and all of this, right? And I go in, and they would be arguing over petty stuff. And I'm sitting here like, that's supposed to be prestigious, right? Because someone told me, oh, Sean, you're on that board. Oh, that's prestigious. And how did you get on that? And da-da-da-da-da. And I didn't look at it that way because I had no clue. I really had no clue.
Right.
But when I went in this room after someone said that and they arguing over petty stuff, and I'm like, listen, I got to get back to work.
Let's pull this
You know what I'm
together.
saying? And so
Look, I got dressed for this.
right. And so when you think, you walk in the room feeling intimidated by the room, that's what made me feel like, okay, no, I'm going to be who I am no matter what room I'm in. No matter what room I'm in, I'm going to be who I am, right? And I may talk, I may not. Sometimes, I'm not as reserved as I used to be. You know what I mean? Because I would be invited to a lot of these things and I would just sit back and listen, right? Now I ask questions. Now I go, hey, my name is Sean Johnson, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
right? And, or I'll ask, what is it that you do? You know what I mean? Or,
Which is a good thing. And I like that quality in you, because I'm the opposite.
Well, you're getting there though. You're
I'll
not the
stand in the
opposite. Because
room.
when we went to Baltimore, you were not the opposite.
Well, you
were
had me on a
it.
mission. You had me on a mission.
We were on a mission. Tea and Cornbread was in the streets.
Yeah, you had me on a mission. I want to go back to something you said though. You said
Okay.
that you will never give the streets the opportunity to
Right.
talk to you,
No,
talk
no.
about you.
No, what I said
Or
is
say.
I will never give people a reason to talk about me in the streets.
Elaborate on that a little bit. Well, this is what I'm thinking you're saying, and you correct me if I'm wrong. You're not going to show yourself out in the streets to where somebody could say, "Oh, Sean did X, Y, and Z." Or,
Right.
what do you mean by that?
That, right? But at the same time, I don't want anybody to take me out of my character.
There. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I
Like,
kind of thought you meant. Like,
yeah,
not
so-
so much because
and I'm not
I
trying
can't
to
control
be a
what somebody else
character,
does. But
right. So I always say, don't underestimate me, but or I'll say, I'm not gonna throw the first punch, but I'll throw the last. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is I'm not gonna let anybody just act and do or say or do anything against me. And not protect myself, or I'm not gonna be in the street arguing and
just
fighting
showing
with nobody,
out exactly.
right?
That's
you know,
yeah.
and so I've been in situations where I did, you know what I mean, and would, but at the same time, you know,
Right now, is it worth it?
is it worth it? Right, it's not, you know. And one thing I say, because I do believe that karma is real. So if I do something towards somebody that's malicious or on purpose, or you know, or trying to make somebody or trying to take somebody down, you know what I mean? Because that's happened to me. You know, people are trying to take me out, right? And but I say
You don't want to retaliate.
right. I'm not an eye for an eye. I'm not that. I've never been, right? And
Not in that instance, but I'm an eye for an eye. In
right.
another instance.
Right.
She knows what I'm talking about. That's why she laughing.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'll say, you know what, God, you gonna handle that for me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
And you have to stand in that. You have to stand
Absolutely.
in that.
It is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Because I was gonna say we give it to him, we take it back. We give it to him, take it back. But we go
Exactly.
through those emotions again. We're only human,
We're
and it's gonna
human.
happen.
We're human. But as a kid, I always said that I would never give somebody a reason to talk about me in the street. People gonna talk about you anyway, whether
Right,
they
wrong,
like
or
you
indifferent.
right, whether they like you or don't like you.
Yep.
You know, I had a cousin one time that used to bring me back, you know, a whole bunch of so and so said, so and so said, so and so said. And one day she said it, and I said, "What did you say in this conversation?" Because
Either
how
you
y'all
defended
keep,
me,
how
or
y'all
you
keep having
you-
these
you
conversations about me,
participated. You
right?
either defended me or you participated.
Exactly. So my thing is, if you're not a client, if I'm not, you know, I don't associate with you, you're not. Someone said the other day, people are just not in my sphere. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is, people are in your life for reasons and seasons. You know, sometimes you fall out with people, or sometimes you just become separate from them.
Right.
You know, they fall out. You know, or you, I'm not fall out meaning like fighting or whatever. I'm saying like they fall out of your
You've
life.
had your
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're in your reason.
Our situation has run not
Exactly.
Our relationship has run its course,
Right.
and it's not always a negative.
It's not at all.
It's not always a
They're in your
negative.
life for reasons and seasons. You don't know why. You don't know for how long.
Yeah.
But when the season is up, you have to be able to identify that. But if the season is up in a way where someone just stopped talking to you and you don't know why, you have to resolve that. You know what I mean? They call it find a resolution for it, right? Or become complete with it.
Yeah.
I learned that in a self-development class.
But does that mean any and everybody? Because there's some people who's going to come in your life and do just that. They're going to just disappear or not call, not talk, and there was no issue. There was no problem.
Right. But it depends on how you feel. You know what
Depends
I mean?
on that relationship with that
yeah,
person.
if you have a relationship, like, you know, I have a relationship with someone that I haven't seen or talked to in years. And in between those years, and they moved away, and in between those years, I would just think about them or feel them. You know what I'm saying? In a way where it's like, I got to get in contact with this person. And every time I got in contact with them, they were going through a medical crisis.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They were going through like some serious medical issues. And I just felt it,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was that or not.
Right.
But
Right.
the point of that is going back to what we talked about at the beginning is calling people, talking to people, whatever. And so when I finally got in contact with her, she would tell me, this is what I've been going through, da 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 da.
Right.
And I would just say to her, if you need me, I'm here. You know what I mean? I said, but I was feeling it. I
Yeah.
was like, I have to get in contact with her, and and then she would say, I'm good, but I knew she wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't. She said what she was, she told me what was going on. I didn't ask any questions. I just said, I'm just calling because I'm thinking about you,
Yeah.
and that's another thing too. You know what I mean? Is calling people, and we talked about this before. Calling
Because
people
you're
and
good at that. Like you said, if you
yeah,
don't hear from somebody, if you're,
right.
oh, you'll reach out and call and say, hey, what's going on? Just checking
Exactly.
in.
Exactly. And that's all part of self-care in a way where it's helping someone else
Mm-hmm.
too. When I'm coaching and people talk about different people and I wish I this, I wish I that. So I write them a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Write them a letter or send them a text or just contact them to say you're thinking of them. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, hey, what's going on? What you doing? Da da da. This is what's
I'm a
happening in
very
my life,
simple
and da da
person.
da.
I feel like that too. I'm a
Yeah,
very simple person. To
yeah.
me, a good morning, good
That's it.
afternoon, how'd your day go? And it's not just like, it could be friendship, male, female, girlfriends, family. Sometimes you just need that. You know what I mean? Like, that's enough for me. Say good morning.
That's it.
Check in the afternoon and say, hey, how'd your day go?
That's it.
You know, a flip side of what you just said about your friend that was going through her medical crisis, you say, I'm here. We always say to people, I'm here. If you need me, call me. I got to work on doing that too, because sometimes I sit there and I need somebody. And I have my friends that I could pick up the phone and say, hey, guess what? I really need you. And if I don't need nothing else, I just need to talk this out. But I sit there and suffer trying to figure it out. So that's something I have to work on. I have my people.
You have your people.
I need to utilize them,
You have your people.
because even like your girlfriend, she's going through whatever she was going through, but she didn't call and say anything,
Right.
you know?
Right.
I feel like, and I know you're going to disagree, people are going to feel like, why is she calling me?
I do
I
disagree.
I didn't hear from her in 3 months or 6 months. Like, and our relationship don't go that
Right. No,
that
no.
space.
I understand what
But
you mean.
or just, I don't know. And I have
But
to get out of my head with that. That's me.
right,
That's
right,
me.
right. And that takes time. That takes time. Takes self-development. That takes therapy.
Yeah.
You know what
There's
I mean?
nothing wrong with therapy.
Nothing wrong with therapy. And
Yeah.
therapy can be good when you don't want your friends to know that you're going through it,
Mm-hmm.
but you have an outlet.
Right.
You have to have an outlet. I believe in that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Or, and it's kind of an oxymoron what I'm about to say. I also believe in being silent.
Oh, I think it's okay. Like,
I
we are,
to a certain
yeah.
extent,
I think it's
right?
okay to be silent at times too.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because when you're silent, you're left to your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I'm going to figure it out. You don't have the tool to figure this one out.
No.
You know what I mean? Being silent, yes, in one sense, when it's like, okay, God, I'm going to move out the way,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm going to move out the way, God, and you handle this.
Yeah.
But you still, what they say, faith without works is dead, right? You still have to do your part in that. And whether that is praying, journaling, reading your Bible,
Mm-hmm.
finding a scripture that will help you in that moment,
Yeah.
right? Maybe calling a spiritual mentor, right?
Right.
So I have a bunch of spiritual mentors, right? Where I can call them and I'll go, listen, this is what I'm thinking. This is what's going on with me, and they'll either give me scripture or they'll pray
Mm-hmm.
or they'll give me scriptures to study on,
Okay.
right? Which I'm learning more about being diligent with that, right? Learning more. I didn't say I'm doing it. I'm just saying learning more about being diligent with that. And also, I have a coach to help me with that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That makes a difference too. If you're out there and you don't know how to get started,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the tools, find a coach, So, I'm a health coach, I'm a wellness coach. I'm not a therapist, right? But I do help people with what we're talking about. And I practice what I preach in a way where every day is a new day.
Hmm.
Every day that I may be dealing with something, whatever, I use the tools that I teach, right? By making a phone call
Yeah.
or making an appointment or reading the Bible or reading something that's going to be uplifting. Like we're going to we're going to segue into our
Yeah.
devotional books. I have many devotional books.
Hmm.
My sister sends me a devotional every morning via email, and at one point I was sending them out to. I had over 100 people I was forwarding it to, and I stopped. I haven't been,
Yeah.
so now it's sporadic, but I want to get back to
To
that.
doing it.
And if you want to be part of that email list, just email us
Yes.
at on our social media or on what am I saying?
You
No, email me at 50thepodcast at gmail.com. If you email us at 50thepodcast at gmail.com saying you want to be part of the email list of devotionals,
Sean's gonna add you.
yep, I'll add you to that email list. That's all it is. Your name, just say your name, put your name in there and your email to say you want to be part of that email list. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. If you have a specific thing that you need help with, tools and things like that, put that in the email and I will respond back to you. So sidetrack, right? But anyway, but those things are, I always say change happens one day,
Hmm.
1 hour, one
One
minute
minute.
at a time.
That's it.
One day, 1 hour, 1 minute
Hmm.
at a time. We want everything
Fast.
tomorrow.
Right now.
We want everything tomorrow.
Results.
And we stick with, we want everything tomorrow, but we hold on to yesterday.
Hmm. Yep. Oh, I started doing this and I should be there. I talked to this person and I'm not clear minded yet. I'm still confused. It takes time.
It takes time.
We still
Someone
working on
asked
us.
me, how long have I been doing this? And, professionally, 9 years, going on 10 years. But if I think about it, all
All
my
my
life,
life.
when you start thinking about, things that you like, right.
Conversations, people you've talked
Yeah,
to, people who've
or
talked to
habits.
you.
The habits
Yeah.
that you have. You forget about those things. And
Yeah.
being a stylist, of almost 40 years.
You
I've been
hear
a, I've been a
lots of stuff.
stylist for almost 40 years,
Yeah.
right? And doing that and meeting so many people
Hmm.
that sit in your chair and that stick with you,
Hmm.
right? You become family.
Right.
You become family. You become that safe space for them. you know like I've had many clients that say to me, if I just love coming here because this is my quiet space, this is my
Hmm.
zen, and I'm so grateful to be able to create that
They feel
space.
comfortable.
And I don't know if it was conscious or unconscious that we created that space. I
Yeah.
just know I know what I would like to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like create what going to a salon would be. You know
Right.
what I mean? Or creating a space where a person comes in that needs coaching,
Hmm.
that we're coaching. So whether it's in a group or one on one, it's it's just teaching tools, and I'm always learning new tools because I need new tools for myself.
Yes. Well, you got to keep them sharpened because if
Yeah,
not, like you said, they get dull. So, yes, we
yeah,
all need new tools.
yeah.
We all need to be open minded, learn, listen. I
Hmm.
don't have all the answers. Just because I'm mom, just because I'm grandma, just because I'm the oldest sister, I don't have all the tools.
Right. But that's where retreats come in. Different retreats, and
Hmm.
check out some. There's some retreats that's coming up in October.
Hmm.
That'll be on our social media pages and stuff like that.
Think they're already out there, so
Yeah,
just take a look.
yeah. One of the episodes with Nada,
Hmm.
right? With Nada,
Yep, that's
is
happening at
on
the end
there.
of October. I'm sorry, I don't have the date in my
But that
head, but that's
retreat
coming.
would be great for those that are out there. That's like, where do I find this type of stuff?
And it's a
Like,
safe
how do
place.
I get
Yes.
exposed? Where can I find this?
Yes.
These events are open to anyone.
Yes.
They're open to anyone.
Come
Um,
open minded. What you
yes.
talk about stays there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's the and people are vulnerable to where you're letting your hair down, you're comfortable, and you do not have to expose a talk if you don't feel like it.
Right.
But if you want to,
You can.
come on.
Yeah, you
Let's
can.
discuss it. Somebody may be going through the same thing you're going through, and
That.
you may help them, or maybe somebody can help you depending on what you're going through.
Right.
And that's what we have to remember. Like I don't want to fight with my sisters. I don't want to fight with my men. I don't want to fight anymore.
I don't want to fight.
I don't
Just don't want to fight at
I
all.
don't want to fight anymore
Because we get nowhere when you're fighting.
You really don't.
You get nowhere when you can really have a conversation. Now everybody has disagreements.
Disagreements are different.
Yeah.
And when I say I don't want to fight, I just physically don't want to be so angry, so mad to where I just don't like you no more. I want to say things out of my mouth that are disrespectful and mean.
Right.
I don't want to fight with you. And physically, I don't want to fight you.
Right.
Like,
right.
let's not go there as adults. Don't take me there.
Right.
Don't take me there. And, there's two people, in this world that probably could really, really make me take me there. And Sean knows what I'm saying. But beyond that, let's not do that to each other at
Right.
the end of the day,
Right.
And I think sometimes we lean into it being all about women, but this is about men too. I don't
Yeah.
want to fight with men.
Absolutely.
I want
Your
you in my
spouse.
life. I want you. I want to
Yeah.
talk to you. I want to
Yeah.
conversate with you. I do want to argue with you, but I don't want it to be a breaking point to where we're disrespectful, nasty. Talk to me.
Right.
Talk
right.
to me.
Right. There's even talk to yourself nicely. Right.
Yeah.
There's a song by Tony Jones. She's a affirmation music. She does
Mhm.
affirmation music, and she has she has one that's called "Talk to Me Talk to Me
Nice.
Nicely." But it's not about somebody else talking to you. It's about you talking to yourself.
Okay.
Right. And if we do that for ourselves, we communicate with others better.
Mm-hmm.
When we are taking care of ourselves, we communicate with other people better.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's perfect, as your shirt says.
Mm-mm.
Forget perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. I know I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be me.
That's
I'm
it.
trying to be me, and you take me as I am.
Or not.
It's not right. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just
Mm-mm.
what it is.
Yes.
And being that person that you want to be, and treating people like you want to be treated.
Treating
is
people like you want to
true.
be treated.
Is so
Yes.
key,
Mhm.
right? But if you don't treat yourself nicely,
Mm-hmm. How could you expect somebody else to?
exactly.
You don't respect yourself. How do you expect somebody else to?
Exactly.
We have to remember that. And we're sitting here saying it. We're not saying that we always are on it, because we're not. This is exactly why we're talking about it right now.
Mhm.
This is exactly why we're having this discussion right now. We're human. And we want people to remember that. We don't have all the answers. And everything we may say on this podcast, it may not resonate with you. You may not agree with it. But this is us.
This is us.
This is us.
I'm loving this because you know what? This is an outlet for us.
Mm-hmm. But today it was needed though. Like
yeah.
today it was needed. And honestly, I'll be raw right now. I really thought today I was gonna be sitting up here teary eyed. Kyle cut it. Sean stopped the recording. I'm doing pretty well, but I will look at you, Sean, and I'm gonna be real with the people because I don't know if they can see it. We both been teary eyed a few times up here, but have held it in because it not because we're trying to hide it, but it just
But to show the vulnerability.
Yes.
We are vulnerable,
Right.
because we're not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And we're emotional beings.
Yes.
As humans, we're
Yes.
emotional beings,
Yes.
right? I don't know if there's any animal or mammal on the planet that cries like we do.
Yes. And it's okay,
You know what I
like
mean?
you said.
It's okay.
It's okay to cry.
And sometimes I feel bad when I feel like I should be crying about something.
And it just won't.
And it
you
won't
just won't
come
release.
out. Yeah, it won't come out. It won't release.
Yes.
And then later, something to trigger it, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden, I'm boohoo.
Yep. Like a waterfall.
But right, like a waterfall. But you know what? Then I feel so much better after.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
so much better after.
Mhm.
It's okay to
Yeah.
cry.
Because you get tense and I get tense and I get stressed and I could feel it. I could
Okay.
feel it. I
Yep.
could feel it in my sinuses. I could feel my face tightening up. It's like, Tracy, sit down and let it go. And,
Mhm.
and when I say let it go, it's not let the situation go, but I have to breathe. Like you said before, it's okay to be by yourself. It's okay to be by yourself. One of my downfalls is being by myself in the house. I could be by myself in my car. I can get up and go walk around the mall. I could get up and go walk around the block. That's my being by myself. If I sit in a house, I drive myself crazy with said issue, whatever the issue it is, you know? So I can't sit in the house alone because I will drive myself crazy.
And I'm the total opposite.
Yeah. See,
I
I
could
always
sit
tell you
in my
too,
house.
my gym is my
And
happy place.
yeah, you did say that. My house is my happy place,
See,
meaning my room.
you could
You
shut
know what I
everything
mean?
and everybody
Yeah.
out.
The shop used to be my happy place, but then I closed it, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my
See?
house, being in my house like by myself,
Mm-hmm.
no one there, when it's quiet,
Yeah.
I mean everything's off, and all you can hear the birds in the background, right?
I think that's cool, but I
That
can't.
that makes me, I can really relax with
Okay.
that, right?
That's good.
And but when you are left to your own thoughts and you need to get it out, I do have you. I have a couple people I
Mm-hmm.
can call to
Definitely.
say, listen, I just need your ear.
Yeah.
And what that means is I don't need you to
I
say
don't need
nothing to
nothing
me.
else from
I
you.
don't need
Just
you to
listen.
respond.
Yes.
I just need your ear.
That's it.
You know, I have a few people in my life like
Mm-hmm.
that. A
Mm-hmm.
few, right? And sometimes when it happens, it's late at night.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple people I can call late at night
Yeah.
too. But for the most part though, it's like no, I like to
Just be by yourself.
for a second.
Yeah.
Just not for long, but for a second. But I know what is healing. Hey, yesterday I had an amazing conversation with someone I hadn't seen or been around in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we had such a great conversation and it just kept rolling. You know what I mean? We were talking about everything, right? Everything. But one thing that stuck out with me about, you know, people arguing, fussing, fighting, or whatever, she says, I don't do that. She says, I don't do that. She says, I just say, I hope you heal.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just stops you in your tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It stops the energy.
it stops the energy, right? And she's like, I'm not giving it back to them
Mm-hmm.
that way. I just say to them, I hope you heal. You
And
know,
that like you said, when you say it, that's deep.
it
Because if I'm arguing and fussing with you, where are we going? How are we making any headway if we're both yelling and screaming or saying things that are not nice to each other? I can't hear you and you can't hear me. But that statement, like you just said, stops me and makes you think.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
hmm I hope you heal. Then
Mhm.
it's like,
Yep.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
to that person,
So they
right?
reevaluate.
They don't even know they need to heal.
Yeah, but they're gonna reevaluate what they saying and they gonna stop.
So what do you do about that healing? What does healing mean to you?
And I'm so sorry that
That
I
was
did
a
that.
deep sigh.
It was because
Why are you sorry for doing it? I don't understand.
I think I'm still working on that too because I think I there's a lot of things that I feel I've healed from, and then something will happen and
It
you're
triggers it.
thinking,
But you're human.
hey,
You're human.
I am, and here I go again, trying to be that person. But I have to remember, you're not perfect at the end of the day. And I don't think that I'm perfect being better than this person or, that's not the kind of perfect I'm talking about, but having it together. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think that I heal on certain things, but there's a lot that I need to learn how to heal on, if that makes sense.
What tools are you using to do it?
Like you said, I used to be on the prayer meeting every morning, which would be, the start of my morning. Right now, I've been doing something that we've talked about, and I'm waking up in the morning, and the first thing I'm doing is focusing on Tracy. I'm saying something positive to myself. I'm reading something positive to myself. What I want to get back into doing is every night before I go to bed or throughout the day, writing down something that I want to change in my life and sticking with it. I had that years ago, and I mean years ago I started it. I still have that original book where I started that years ago and stopped it. Why I stopped it, I just don't know. So what I'm doing to work on me is trying to get back to me, get back to focusing on when I wake up, and it starts in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how my day starts off. Um, and I'm staying positive even when I see something's going. I'm trying to let me. I'm trying to.
Right, right. It's conscious
Yeah.
because once it's conscious, eventually it becomes unconscious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it takes a while. It takes a while. I mean, but that's self development. You're
Definitely.
developing. You're
Definitely.
evolving,
Yeah.
right? And as we get older, we get wiser,
Mm-hmm.
more mature. And we are, what's the word I want to say? Our, not priorities, but things that matter.
That matter.
Things that
Mm-hmm.
matter change. Things that matter change, meaning responses,
Mm-hmm.
reactions,
Simple conversations, though.
words,
Just conversations.
people,
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
This is healing.
It is healing. It
This is
is.
healing.
It really is. It really is.
Because if
Yeah.
you would have told me 5 years ago, even though I talked about it,
She sure
I would have
did.
said,
She planted the
not
seed,
gonna do that.
and
But
this is why
this
we're
is what I
here.
wanted to do. But I do find this healing. Like I look forward to doing this, and
Mhm.
whether we're sitting here in front of these mics, or if we're just audio,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is healing for me.
Yeah.
These simple conversations that we have about everyday living.
Every day, because we have to live,
Yes,
right?
yes, and we're human at the end of the day.
We are.
You know,
And for those that are out there thinking they're alone, you're not.
never.
You're not alone.
Mm-mm.
There's so many people out here that are going through the same things, different variations, but the same things
Right.
over and over again. The thoughts we have about ourselves are the same.
Mm-hmm.
How we deal with that is where we
Where we differ.
differentiate,
Yeah.
but at the same time, this is why we're doing the podcast, so that
Exactly.
if you are listening or
Mhm.
looking or whatever that is, I hope you get some kind of relief, solace, or
Yes.
confirmation,
Yes.
affirmation.
A little aha moment.
Right.
Like, oh wow.
Yeah.
I
I
would have
hope,
never thought Tracy and Sean
or
was
never
going through
thought that
that.
somebody else, whether you
Yeah.
know
Because
us
it
or
may
not.
not even be
Yeah,
our
they may not know
conversation. It may
us.
be somebody that we've had on the panel too.
That too. That's why we have other
Yes.
people.
Yes.
That's why we have people on here that have gone through some stuff,
that have
or
gone through some stuff.
they just living their best life.
Living their best life. And still trying to figure it out. And that's what we don't want people to think, that you get to a certain point in your life and you gotta have everything set up accordingly, or else I'm a failure if I don't have this by 50. Oh, I should have
Right.
done this by 52.
Right.
There's no book.
There's no book.
There's no book. It's your life.
Mhm.
Rewrite it and keep rewriting it.
Yeah.
That
Or
book
not
keeps
even
going.
rewrite it. Just keep writing.
Keep adding it.
Keep
Keep
adding
adding
to
to
it.
it. Keep adding to
because
it.
our past shapes our future. Our past shapes our future, but present, if we're present,
Mhm.
then we can take that moment to write.
Right.
Whatever that is. And I'm
Yeah.
talking figuratively or literally. I'm a journalist. I'm sorry. I'm not a journalist.
I
Let's
was
not
getting
say
ready to
that.
say, look,
No.
I was about to
I
look,
mean,
huh?
I write in a journal. That's what I mean.
I was like, wait, what?
I
My
am
girl
not a
writing a
journalist.
book.
No, I'm not a journalist. But I think about that though. What
What would your book look like? I've thought about
right.
that too. I'm like, I could write a book, but then I feel like, and here I go again, not being vulnerable. There's some stuff that people would be like, what?
Yeah, but at the same time, being vulnerable is strength.
Yeah. And it's being honest.
You are
At the
more
end of the day,
powerful
you got to
yeah.
be honest. And I have to be
Yeah.
honest with Tracy before I could be honest with Sean.
Right. Absolutely. We were at a retreat. I was speaking in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the icebreakers that they did was, if you were to write a book, what would the title be? And it was amazing. And why? The question was, what would the title be and why? Right? And my title was
It's okay.
Wait a minute.
I'm pretty sure it was a good one.
It was so long ago I wrote it down. Wait, what was my title? Hold on. It wasn't If You Don't Take Care of Your Body, Where Will You Live? Yes, it was. If You Don't Take Care of Your Body, Where Will You live? Where you
Mhm.
gonna live? That was the title, right? And when I said it, everybody was like, right, right. And I said, because um, health is wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Health is wealth. Health is it's everything, your mind, body, spirit. When we say that, people go, oh, that's so cliche or whatever. But it's the truth. It starts with your mind,
Yeah.
your mindset. Everything that we talk about, even on this podcast, it's mindset, right? To make different changes in your life. So and then when after I said it, I was like, oh, okay, what would that book really be?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I have a book in me. You know what I mean? I don't have the urge to write a book, you
I
know.
swear I do.
Well, that's good.
And my title would probably be something like, "This was really my life,"
Ah,
because I feel like
y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. We're going to make sure that happens. I don't care if
I
it's
swear
the
I
next 10
thought
months or
about
the
it.
next 10 years, whatever, it's going to
Yeah,
happen.
it's yeah.
Okay.
I really think I
Start
have a
it.
lot to say about my life.
Start
And
it.
I think if I don't write it down, it's forgotten and it goes with me. And then you think about your parents, our parents, both our parents are not here, our grandparents that are not here. We know what we know from what they told us, but
We didn't write
after
it
us,
down.
where does it go? You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we keep telling those stories to our children and grandchildren, but how long does that happen before nobody knows?
Right.
You know?
One of my girlfriends said that she does write down things for her grandkids.
Yes. And
You know what I
that's
mean?
awesome.
She tells it to them too,
Yeah.
but she is writing it down. I was
Yeah.
like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, how? How can I do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or not how, but just to
Where
to
do you
do
start
it.
doing
Yeah.
it? But it's
But I got a bunch of
simple.
journals.
You just
I
start writing it down
listen.
and then it all comes together. How else does somebody sit and write a book?
I think I would have to have all my journals in one place and make sure that my daughter or my son, both of them have it, and they write the book
That could be
if they
happening
want
too.
to.
Yeah.
If they want
Yeah.
to, they're
That
gonna they're gonna read some stuff and they're gonna be like, oh my god,
but
I
see
didn't know
and
this
that
about mommy.
and that's where I sit with that too. It's like, and I know people are going to sit there and say like, what in the world could she possibly say that we don't know? That's it. You don't know what you don't know. And I
Right.
could tell you some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think we do need to share those stories. I mean, it's just like if we look back and look at people that we didn't know that we grew up and we look on the History Channel, we look back on 50 years of hip hop. I'm just bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at those, the women of hip hop, the men of hip hop, and some of the stories that they went through. And, it was incredible.
It
We found out
was.
years later what was going on behind the scenes and everything that they went through
Right.
and fought. I mean, and just in history, let's not even get it to, just in history itself, of people of color and what they've gone through and what we read in books
Oh
and what
my
they don't want
goodness.
us to read in books.
Right.
We see the end result.
Yeah.
The end result is all pretty and shiny with a bow.
Right.
Let's talk about how we got
behind
there.
the scenes.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about how we
Yeah,
got there.
the journey.
Yeah. And I say that again, and I kind of bring it back to self-help when I say writing that book and keeping those things, letting the people we leave here, our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, and our
Legacy.
never.
We talk about legacy.
Letting them know, and I say that because I think that would explain a lot of who we are and why we are.
Mm.
You don't know everything about me, and if I
Mhm.
told you some stuff, you would say, "That's why." You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I could honestly sit here and say that because I look back at my grandparents, I look back at my parents.
Mhm.
I didn't know, a lot of stuff that I know or realized now as an adult, the way they did stuff and why they did stuff in that manner. You know what I'm saying? That conversation, I think I'm a little bit more conversational with my children, you with your children, and maybe our parents was with us. We had a great relationship with them and they kept us educated and letting us know we are it. But at the same time, I didn't see all their struggles. I seen some of that stuff on the surface and other stuff they kept from us.
Well, it's not that they kept it from us. Would we be able to even process it? Because we
Well,
were
we
kids.
didn't need to process it.
We didn't.
We didn't need to process
Right.
it. But I think as we got older, well, unfortunate for me, unfortunately, I've lost my parents earlier, like my late 20s. Neither one of them made it to be 50. So there was a lot lost there. There was a lot that I know, but there was questions where, I text my cousin one day and I said, I miss my mother and father.
Yeah.
Like I just woke up one
Yeah.
day needing them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I do believe in, though? I believe that their spirit is with us. I believe that when we are thinking of them, so last night I was laughing because something I did and I knew my mother would have laughed. So I have those moments all the time. Whew.
We
I ha-
tried to make it.
right. I have those moments all the time. My grandmother, my father, um, yeah, and it's okay though, Tracy, and asking. So, like for instance, Mattatuck Museum sent me a recording of my grandmother's interview when they did the uh what is it called? Oh man, I don't remember the name of it right this second. But the documentary that it did with the African American people here in Waterbury in 1999, and there were, when she was talking about my great grandfather and all of that, this, that, and the other. And there were a lot of things that she talked about. I was like, wow, I never knew this. I never knew that. But so then I called my cousins, my older cousins, because my cousins grew up with my mother like brothers and sisters. And I said, listen, did you guys know? So having those, like you said, call your cousin and say, I miss my mother. Tell me more. Because then they can fill in some of the gap of something that you might want to know about your mom or your father, calling those that grew up with them, and they can probably say, you know what, your mother used to do da 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 da, you do just like, you're just like her, or you're just like him, your father used to do, what you do is the same. And being able to really, we got to have those conversations with
And
our,
I think
our
we
our
do.
people that are here,
Yeah.
the elderly. And I wish I would have recorded my grandmother um as she was getting older, even though I have a lot of memories with her because I was always with her.
Right.
She was my
Right.
road dog, right? And my cousins, not all of them had that same relationship with her, but there were some things that she talked about in this audio that I was like, what? And I sent it to my cousins. You know what I mean? I sent it to them. And it was just amazing to listen to her because it was a lot of things. It was like, I never knew that. I never knew this. I never
Yeah.
knew that.
But there we go back to writing
Right.
it down.
Writing it
Write
down.
it down.
But know also though that they're always with us. And if we sit still long enough and quiet our brain long enough, we can hear them.
Yeah.
They'll say stuff to us. You know how people say God said, or God told me to tell you this,
Mm-hmm.
or da 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 da. I believe that happens with our
Yeah.
ancestors too. I believe it happens with our ancestors. Um, and when we miss them like that,
Yeah.
they cover us. They
And
hug
I think
us.
it goes beyond, because my mother and my father both have siblings that are still here. Um, I have memories, I'm not saying I don't have the memories, but I think it's more, you know, not so much who they were, what they did. I remember that about them. I remember those two powerful black influential people in my life. I remember, the life lessons and the ups and the downs, but it's just the want, the
The
need
want.
of a, you look at me as a
You want to
grown,
touch them.
yeah, I need my mom, I need my dad still.
Hmm.
You see people celebrating. I'm happy for you that you still got your dad.
Right.
I love that you still have your mom.
Right.
And I want that.
Yeah, I know.
I want that. If it's nothing more than, hey, a conversation, I'm going over to my mom's house and sit on her couch. And like you said, and don't say nothing. Because she's going to know something ain't right. Tracy, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I say when I say, I miss them. I
Yeah.
miss that.
Yeah.
I miss what we had. And I'm sorry, people, what we had out Pearl Lake, our little family. I
Absolutely.
miss that. And, we have to hold on to those memories. But at the same time, I miss my people.
Mm, mm. It's funny at Double Dutch that you missed the other day.
That's okay. I'll be there this week.
Arlinda said, "Yeah, Sean from Long Hill." I said, "No, I'm from Pearl Lake."
No, she didn't.
I said, "No, Pearl Lake, Pearl Lake."
Correction. That is
Nothing
funny.
against Long Hill, but that's not where I'm from.
That is funny.
But yeah, so when you talk about that, but the great thing is we have those memories.
Right.
We have those memories that we
Right.
can reflect back on. And we have to be able to make sure that we're creating
Those
memories for
same
our,
memories,
yeah, for
yes.
not maybe same, but the
Well,
same
not the
type or the
same.
same
Yeah,
feeling
yeah, not the same,
for
but
our
just creating
kids
them.
and our
Yes,
grandkids. I
yes.
don't think any of us had all of our kids together in one place. We got to make that happen.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's so
Because our
funny. As
kids
close
didn't,
as we
right?
are.
Our kids didn't grow up together
Yeah.
like we did, right?
Yeah.
So
We do.
yeah, we got to make that happen.
2024, we gonna make that
That
happen.
uh, and our kids is looking at this like, for
No, yeah,
what,
yeah.
right?
Look,
We-
our kids is grown with kids, and they probably saying, "And huh, y'all
right?
not gonna."
What you for what? What you gonna do with us? Anyway, cook out, cook out. We
Listen,
can do a
it's
cookout.
just listen. We gonna show y'all how we
How?
love each other.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's. I don't know, but I just hope that anyone that's watching us knows that
This is real.
it's real, and I hope you have this. If you don't, find it.
Yeah.
It's never too late
I
because
love that.
we're still
I
here.
hope you have this, and if you don't find it,
Find it.
yes.
Find it one way, shape, or another. If you have a new person in your life that you want to develop a relationship with, call your cousins you haven't talked to. I call my cousins all the time. I'm just calling to say hey, and don't look for, how people say, I call them all the time. They don't ever call me. And so what?
You know, somebody said that to me, and I know when they said it, I start laughing, and you know who I'm talking about. But when they said it, I said, "You talking about?" I know you talking about me. Like you sit here and telling me on the phone, I'm so tired of calling people and they don't call me back and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, but I want to say something to that. And this is again about me. When I'm going through something, I'm not calling you.
I know.
I'm not texting you. And don't
nobody
take it
knows
on
you're
a
going
personal
through it.
level. Right. But I got to figure out how to not do that. It's wrong. I'm 100%
It's not
wrong.
that it's wrong. It's who you are.
Yeah, but it's not
It's
right.
not about
because
right or wrong. It's who you are. And it's okay.
I guess, but it's not fair. It's not fair to the people that I love, to the people that like you said, just pick up the phone, just text, just whatever. It's not about you though, and I don't want to I'm not apologizing for that because right now I feel like I got to work on Tracy. Like I'm still working on Tracy.
Right. And that's fine.
So when
That's
something
fine.
takes me out of myself, I just sometimes don't need or want to deal with too many
Anything or
things at one
anybody.
time. Let me figure it out, and then I'm always here for you, But I do notice that I don't want to say push you away. I'm not gonna not answer if you call. Don't do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just not being aggressive enough to where I'm picking up that phone and calling you. Where we usually are talking once a week or texting, hey, how you doing? Or sending back funny memes. I'm leaving you on red. It's not on purpose. Like I'm only being real honest right now because it's not on purpose. And I think people think, oh, she's only doing this to me. No, I'm not. This is
No.
just who I am. Sean knows, like she has driven. We talked about these things. She come to my house, texting me, and I'm not answering. Guess who that might do? And it's okay
And
because
it's
I'm not
okay.
gonna not answer the door because
And I'm
she's
just
there.
right. And I'm just checking to make sure you all right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So
and
I'm still
sometimes-
working on me. I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes I force myself on people.
No. But sometimes people need that too.
Right.
I'm saying I don't do it to make people do that.
Right.
But sometimes people do.
They do
You
need
know.
it. Because you know who you are.
Right.
And if you're close to someone,
Yeah.
whether it's your sister, your brother, your
Mhm.
friend, or whatever, when you're close to someone, you know what you know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's hard to explain, I guess, but you know when that person is dealing with whatever they're dealing with, right? Or not even,
You just
energy
know.
is real. I
It
have to say
is.
it that way. Energy is real. You feel it.
Mhm.
When I feel it, I act on it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I do. I act on it. When I feel it, I act on it. And it can be anyone. I have a girlfriend that's in Virginia, and sometimes I'll go, girl, I'm just thinking about you, and she'll go, woo, let me tell you, right? And it's just that simple. And then we get off the phone, you
Yeah.
know.
She just
and
needed
then-
to release.
right? And then even not even so much that. I think it's even for myself to just make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everyone is different.
Everybody's
Not everybody's that way. Everybody's different. Everybody's individual. And we were born individually, right? Even with our DNA, no two DNA are the same, even with twins. None. Yes, you can look at DNA and say, I'm related to you or you're related to me. But our DNA and our fingerprints and all of that are absolutely not the same.
Mhm.
Not the same. So that means people are not the same.
Mm-mm.
So everybody's way of doing things is not the same.
It's not.
And it's okay. It's not right or wrong. It's just
Right.
who you are
It's just who you
individually.
are.
We are unique and fabulous.
All of that.
And when you're unique, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like it, some people don't.
It's okay.
But so what?
It's okay. But something you said about siblings, and one thing I have to plug is my brother, Brian Davis.
Brian Davis. Look out. Look at
One of the most intelligent men I know. You can say whatever you
Absolutely.
want to say outside
Yes.
of that. But if you sit down and have a conversation with Brian, he sometimes, hey sis, just because. Good
There you go.
morning. Hey sis, he sends a heart. Hey sis, I love you.
There you
Like
go.
one day he said to me, like something to the point, like you're strong, you're beautiful, you got it going on. Out of the clear blue sky.
And you needed it at
I
that
was getting
moment.
ready to say, do you know how powerful that was
Yes.
that day?
Yes.
And I just said, thank you, bro.
Yes.
But little stuff like that, you know what I'm saying?
Makes a difference.
Makes a difference. Because
Mhm.
people see you.
Mm-hmm.
They see you and he sees me.
Mhm.
And it's not about what I can or cannot do for him.
Mhm.
Or if I don't hear from him, he's checking in. Oh, I FaceTime you, you didn't pick up the phone, or what you doing, and blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. We go at it like siblings do, and we're grown. We go at it. I be like, what am I doing? I'm working. Leave me alone.
Right.
But his little check-ins mean so much, whether he knows it or not.
Yeah.
Just the little check-ins.
Yeah. Tiny's the same way.
Checking in.
He calls me on Sundays.
There you go.
Mhm.
It means so much.
And if he don't call, then I'll call him and I'll go, hey,
yeah.
what's up?
It's real simple.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
real simple.
It's not, it doesn't take a whole lot.
Like one of my biggest fans, one of my biggest male fans
Is your brother.
is my brother. Like I
Cool.
could honestly say that.
Yeah.
He really is. Brian, he's the coolest. Tiny's the coolest.
Listen, let me tell you, they have a conversation on Tea and Cornbread. Check it out with Tracy and
that's-
her brother.
I tell you no lie. I was just across the street in the store, and the guy walked up to me and said, "Hey, I seen you in your brother's podcast." I said, "Well, go out there on YouTube, Spotify, and look out the rest of them.
Absolutely.
Go check out the rest of them." But I
Yeah.
just cracked up. But yeah,
They had a
siblings
great
are
conversation.
important. They are
Yes.
very, very important. And you never know. Like Sean said, picking up the phone, sending a little text, what that will mean for somebody.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I got to get better at it.
That's all right.
I got to get better at
Every
it.
day is a new day.
There you go.
It takes one day, 1 hour,
One
1 minute at a
There
time.
you go.
All right. So we've been yapping today,
Mm-hmm.
but this is
This
cool.
is my therapy.
This was therapy today. We both needed this today.
Mhm.
We needed this today.
Yes.
And
Yes.
for those out there, I hope you guys got something from this
Something.
conversation. You want to read from your Jesus is Calling, the devotional book?
No, I'll let you do it.
Okay, you got to give me the book. We're going to read a devotional. We
Oh.
want to try to make a habit out of this.
Okay.
Reading devotional for in our, what do you call it? What am I saying? During an episode, we want to get in the habit of reading devotional, and hopefully that it will spark anything for you guys out there. So today is October 8th. Guess what it starts with?
What?
I love you.
Oh, wow.
With an everlasting love. The human mind cannot comprehend my constant
It's okay. I love it. Mm-hmm.
constancy. Your emotions flicker and falter in the face of varying circumstances, and you tend to project your fickle feelings onto me. Thus, you do not benefit fully from my unfailing love. You need to look beyond the flux of circumstances and discover me gazing lovingly back at you. This awareness of my presence strengthens you. As you receive and respond to my love, I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. Let my love flow into you continually. Your need for me is constant as the flow of my love to you. Jeremiah 31:3. Girl. So this is from, it says, Devotions for Every Day of the Year by Sarah Vaughan. Jesus Callings. Enjoying peace in his presence.
Yes.
Girl.
And I
So
love
we
you.
gonna,
Gotta love yourself.
yes, we gonna end on that
Yes,
note.
we are. Powerful day today.
I love you.
I love you too. I'm
We
so
love you
glad we did
also.
this. Yes. Thank
Yes.
you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you. All right. All right. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget. And back to, if you want to be added to our devotional email list, email us at 50thepodcast@gmail.com. Put your name and your email, and we will add you to the email list for our devotionals that will be emailed almost daily. Have a great
Happy
day.
day, people.